Hello and welcome to this short overview of My Everything DiSC. My name's Gary Blissett. I'm one of the authorised partners for Everything DiSC and the 5 behaviours in the UK. My Everything DiSC is a fantastic follow-up tool that's included with every Everything DiSC assessment, and it's an online portal that really helps you to continue your learning and get the most out of the assessment that you've just taken. So what I'm going to do is talk you through. So first of all, myeverythingdisc.com is the URL in order to get access. And you'll have been sent an email from us already with an access code to let you know that you've been set up. Once you're into My Everything DiSC, you use the same sign-in details as you use to take the self-assessment. So that's your email and the password that you set up. And that then brings you to this page. And the number of things on this page, and for me, probably one of the most useful, is actually down right at the bottom here. Very small letters where it says Learn About DiSC. And if you are interested in learning a little bit more about the model and about the theory and the history, then this is the place to come. So you have a little timeline here which goes right the way back to 1928 when William Moulton Marston was the original instigator of DiSC. And his the model of behaviour that was proposed in his book, The Emotions of Normal People. So right the way up to 2017, when you can see that the way the information was presented from a very graphical visual interpretation through to the DiSC model that you see now, which has the dot in the middle, which represents your particular style, and the words are out on the outside that reflect the priorities that drive your behaviour. Over on the left-hand side, exploring the DiSC map. So if you just want a very quick summary of each of the styles, this is the place to come. Just a quick click and you'll get a quick paragraph which describes the behaviour of each of those styles. Some information about the theory behind DiSC, and also a really very detailed research report that is available that gives you the statistical analysis that talks about the reliability and the validity of the model. So if you are interested in the background, this is the place to come. Just a reminder, Learn About DiSC right down at the bottom here. So it's a little bit hidden away. If I go back to my comparisons, which is the starting point for My Everything DiSC, what you'll find here is this big yellow button down here, My Style Podcast. And by clicking on here, this gives you access to a lengthy and quite detailed podcast about your style. You're able to download it. It's also available on mobile or any other platform so that you can listen to it on the go as well. Over on the left, some interactive activities just to give you a little bit more information. And just as a reminder, all of this data is being pulled from your own personal report. So this is what's being reflected here. So this is my report. You can see that I have this moderate preference towards the D style. By clicking on each of the words on the left-hand side, the priorities, get a little bit more information, but also some information here about how much effort does each of these things take for me and how much effort I may need to put into making that stretch to deliver behaviours in accordance with some of those other priorities. So this is specifically about my general interactions. Some information here about in the context of the environment that I find myself in, and then again the context of my communication preferences. Also pulled from my own report here is my alignment with the style. So this is pulling out some of the key statements that you will have answered during the assessment that absolutely, in my case here, completely match with the profile. If there were some things that didn't quite match, then they would be down here to give me an opportunity to have a think about those and maybe discuss those with some other people as well to see how accurate my own personal self-assessment is compared to the behaviours that other people see. So going back here to my comparisons, this is where it gets really helpful and a tool that you can use on an ongoing basis. One of the things you can actually do is to invite other people to compare, and that combines your data with theirs. In order for this to happen, you have to have agreed to signing up to have your information publicly available. So that happens when you first logged into My Everything DiSC. There were a number of tick boxes that you needed to select. However, once you're in, what you can start to do is start to put in the name of somebody that you'd like to make a comparison with. So in this case, I'm going to make a comparison with Jackie. Jackie falls down here in terms of this list here. And by clicking send invite, what that will do is that will ask Jackie for her permission for this to happen. So these reports cannot be generated without both parties actually consenting to them. So assuming Jackie is happy with this, and we've done it before, so she pretty much is, what we then start to get is a really detailed comparison of my style over here, the black dot, and Jackie's style over here, the white dot. So you can see that there's a significant difference in the way that we approach things. And so if I want a little bit more detail around here, choosing these tip categories. So for example, if I'm giving and receiving feedback to Jackie, or giving and receiving feedback from Jackie, you can see that on these scales, there is a difference in the way that we approach things. Jackie might be a little bit more tactful than I am sometimes. And what that does is it gives me some then indicators as to how I may need to approach giving some feedback. You can see that we have some similarities here in our generosity or selectiveness when it comes to giving praise. But again, what we've got is some ideas and some practical actions that you can use in order to work more effectively together. So there are a number of drop downs here: working on a project, managing tension, getting buy-in, or building general relationships, all of which use these continuum in order to give you some practical guidance on how you could work best together. If you do want to fully download the report, over here on the right hand side where it says download report next to Jackie's name, just one click and a couple of seconds later that report is generated, which you can either view in the browser or save as an attachment. And this gives a full comparison of all of those pieces of information we were just looking at into one document. So what we can see is that map in this format, some ideas about what's important to us and what we tend to emphasize and what the differences may be. And then each of the continuum that I was talking about earlier, and some ideas here about how you can apply these in order to build more effective relationships. So comparison reports are a great way of actually using DiSC on an ongoing basis, creating those with your team members, creating those with stakeholders, people that you may be working with, in order that you can have some discussions and just maximize and get the best out of the relationships that you have in the workplace. The other thing you can do on this page is to build what's called a group map. So if you are working in a team, so I'm just going to put in here my test team. What I can actually do is pull all of this data together so that it's easily accessible for me to take a look at. Just out of interest, I'm just going to take the first three people on this list that's already been pre-populated, and then I'm going to have a look at my group map. And you can see what this does then is it puts us all onto the circumplex, all onto the map. And then what I can do is one by one, I can choose a particular person and then get straight into those comparisons that we've spoken about before. So really useful to have that group map and that idea, something you could set up for your whole team. Couple of other things to point out then over here, my reports. So within the my reports section, this is where all of your reports that you've taken are stored. So long as you've used the same learner account in order to take them, they'll all be here forever for you to come back to. If for some reason you've used a different account and you need to add a report to this, the easiest way is on the paper copy that you've been supplied, down here on the right hand side, hidden away in that blue sort of background box of the logo, what you'll find is a big code. That code, simply type it into this box here and click add, and your report will now be imported into My Everything DiSC for you. The final area I just want to have a quick look at is specifically for people that have taken an Everything DiSC sales profile. And what this does is this allows you to create customer interaction maps. So for example, if I wanted to generate a customer interaction map for somebody that I might be going to see today, so let's put in here, let's be topical. So if I've got a meeting with the Prime Minister Boris Johnson today, what I might want to do is think, how can I get my messages across to him most effectively, bearing in mind that I'm there to sell and to help him to buy. So the first thing to do is to think about what I know of him. So on this continuum of Is he more fast-paced and outspoken, or is he more cautious and reflective? I think I can probably safely say that we could put him up here in that little circle up there. Following on from that, a quick assessment. And again, these are just based on your initial observations. There's not obviously the detailed amount of science that sits behind it that creates your report. So this is a little bit more general, but it still can be really useful and give you a good idea. The second area here on the observation is he more questioning and skeptical, or is he more accepting and warm? I'm not sure about this actually, but I think he's probably more accepting and warm than necessarily questioning and skeptical. Certainly from what we tend to see. So by clicking finish here, what this will generate for me is this customer interaction map. That again, one click, and what this starts to do then is gives me some practical and tangible actions that I can take when working with this person. So first of all, here's me, based on my assessment over here. What it then does is it says, okay, so some of the things that I may need to focus on doing if I'm going to be really effective in selling to him is, increasing my enthusiasm for the process, moving towards productive action, and actually really building a positive relationship. So some practical, tangible things that you could do in order to build better relationships with your prospects or with your clients. So customer interaction maps available to everybody that's done an Everything DiSC sales map. So that's pretty much it in terms of a quick overview. There are plenty of other things in here that you can take a look at as well in your own time. I'd really encourage you to have a look at my Everything DiSC. If you can't for some reason get access to it, then please do get in touch, because it may just be that we need to activate your account. If you'd like more information about any of the aspects of Everything DiSC or the 5 behaviours, please do visit our website discgb.co.uk or give us a call, and we're always happy to help. Thanks very much, and I hope you enjoy using my Everything DiSC.